Hello, guys. I am Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran. I'm here with the beautiful, lovely. Sometimes she will make this man a sandwich. Wife of mine, a light of my life, Yanzi Lynn.
Hi.
And today is the day we're talking about the American comic book industry as they fumble over and over again to sell their own IP. So here we go. Some of these things maybe I've talked about, some of them maybe I haven't, but please look down below, hit like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, guys. Help the channel out. This is going to be kind of a stew of a lot of events that's mainly happened at Marvel Comics that actually imply that they're basically editorial does not know how to even present or sell you the intellectual properties that are household names, including things like X-Men, Thor, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, no more, I guess, and then Conan for some reason. So this also will encompass some of DC Comics, as we've talked about on this channel, such as like bisexual Superman, gay Robin, non-binary Flash. So these all relate, even though they're not the same thing. Now, the takeaway is the comic industry is at an interesting time. We're talking about these characters are household names. Spider-Man comic isn't just competing with a Batman comic book anymore. Spider-Man comics, believe it or not, it's actually competing with itself. It's competing with a Spider-Man cartoon. It's competing with a Spider-Man toy, a Spider-Man video game, a Spider-Man movie. So as far as a product being bought and consumed, you taking the money out of your pocket for a comic book, these things are really fighting for relevance. And that's something you have to keep in mind as we're going to go down through this. Now, this came up last week and I thought about doing a video on it, but I kind of wanted to wait to see what happened. And then I just like, let's do a video on it.
So in this issue of Immortal XMen #1, Hope Summers resurrects a bunch of mutants, and that prompts the character Exodus to make this comment. It seems like a bit of a throwaway comment where he says, the Nazarene mutant inspired a church among the humans by raising a couple from the dead. The Nazarene mutant here is quite obviously Jesus Christ. And I'm not sure what's prompting Marvel to suddenly decide to say, oh, by the way, Jesus, we claim him as a mutant. And it's just 2 weeks to Easter.
Right. Well, that's why. I mean, this is a plant. Now, obviously, this expects the wrong people to rub the wrong way or something like that, or the right people be rubbed the wrong way. However, an SJW would phrase it, this is meant to be that. Now, Marvel, DC, of course, they try to make their incarnation of things like Pocahontas, the Monkey King. And would Marvel be against trying to make a version of Jesus for themselves? I'm not sure. And I mean, that's as outrageous as it is. My stance on things is things like politics and religion really shouldn't be in comic books, period. This is a book about gifted mutants fighting evil mutants or sentinels or cool things like that. You know, maybe they go into space, fight the Brood, whatever. Why not do fun things with X-Men? Why does everything have to be political with X-Men? Like, I don't get it.
Well, wouldn't this be the fault of the writer, though, in this case? Because, I mean, somebody wrote this panel over here, so.
And this is for me working in comic books for about 20 plus years in the mainstream industry and now doing my own. The thing is all of this rests with the publisher. Okay. You can be a writer, but they can alter your word balloons and stuff like that before it even goes to print. You do not have the authority to hit print. All of this is going to lie on the responsibility of editorial at the end of the day, and not just editorial, but even the publisher themselves, whoever the standing publisher at the time is. I think at one time it was Dan Buckley. I'm not sure if it still is, but that is how this works. Now, a freelancer can take it upon himself. This is work for hire, but if it's a creator-owned thing, that's different. Then it is the creator's fault if he owns it, but still whoever's publishing it, it's sort of their fault. In this virtue signal climate, you know, we saw recently with Pocahontas, right?
Seems like Jason Aaron angered a bunch of people when he decided to pick a very sexy princess over here and give her the name Princess Matuaka, which is Pocahontas' real name. So people are saying, okay, wow, look at this. It's actual violence against Native Americans when you decide to create a sexy Native American-inspired princess over here. You know, here's the thing. Sometimes I feel that Marvel is just overdoing it. Sometimes they could have resolved the whole problem by changing the character's name from Matuaka to something else, anything else. But not only did they do that, well, they actually haven't even revealed what the name changes. But before they reveal that, they say, oh, it's more important that we reveal a dress change.
Right. Let's put a burlap sack on it and call it a day. And this seemed like a plant. Again, in the virtue signal age, Jason Aaron took the apology and then he said he's donating all the cash. Okay. But in the end, it's actually Marvel's fault. Marvel is the one that needs to be donating cash to I don't know, reservation. They do, not Jason Aaron. Did Jason Aaron write this? Sure. Is it? But Marvel's the one that allowed it to go to print. They're the ones that approved his script, approved the outline, all of these things rest with Marvel. Jason doesn't have the ability to make these things. So I believe, and my stance on this is that this was always there. There's another situation of it we'll talk about real quick before I explain why. And another one's this event where Miles Morales can't be a strong African Hispanic character on his own, that he has to now don Captain America, everything but himself. Like, and this is a sad event. This is a thing going on at Marvel Comics. Basically, you know, they were successful with this diverse character, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and people liked it. Has his own movie. Everybody knows who the character is, and you know that's a big success, but not enough. Now they're like, well, what if we just, I don't know how to explain it, but what if we took this diverse character and just said, well, what if Miles Morales was Thor? What if he was Captain America? And it kind of actually hurts the character, in my opinion. I'm not that interested. You know, there used to be like what if books where it's like, what if, you know, Venom symbiote mixed with Punisher and things like that. And those were cool one-offs. I just don't really think like, what if Miles Morales was Thor is interesting. But that's an opinion thing. But this isn't like seeing something like, oh, the second Majoran is held by somebody of color, then there must be graffiti on it. There must be an arm sleeve tattoo. There must be some really cool kicks on his feet. There must be an Adidas tracksuit tied around because that's what
he has to wear a hoodie too. Look at that.
He must you know, shave something in the side of his head because that's what African American Hispanic would do. You start appropriating this is, I don't know what you would call this. I mean, it's borderline the most one. I feel like it's got to be kind of hands down one of the more racist things I've seen Marvel Comics do.
What is happening here is that they're trying to say, well, if we want to make him into this character, this brand new Thor, even if it's a what if, we must somehow still make him recognizable. We must make his heritage recognizable. I know, let's put in as many things about the black culture as we can into this character, and they end up super stereotyping him instead.
And you could say, Shane, you're out of line here. I don't think so. If this, like, for instance, was Thor as like, I don't know, an Asian woman, Yanzi, what would be the things that if you thought somebody was trying to insult you or your culture, like how would this design look?
I guess maybe chung some braided hair, maybe using a paper fan or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, but none of those things are realistic to being a superhero.
I want to know, what does putting all these wall banger sticker tattoos or other things on the hammer exactly do it for it? Like,
doesn't do anything. It says, hey, we assume as Marvel Comics, if you're African American, you spray paint walls.
Oh,
you performing graffiti, like, and that's the insult to this. Or you just shave funny symbols in the side of your head, like with the wings shaved into the side of the head. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting that Marvel Comics is doing this. And there's two things here, and this is where all this sums up. Is either Marvel Comics absolutely doesn't know how to sell the properties, the household name properties that people have known and appreciate, like such as Thor, such as X-Men. They have to do things with monthly publishing to be relevant. Why isn't anybody talking about X-Men? Well, let me plant this in X-Men. Why isn't people talking about Thor? Well, what if we do something radically weird with Miles Morales and Thor and people talk about that? And you know, these are not big ideas, but these are things that are getting them talked about basically on a weekly scenario. Now, for people, if you don't read a lot of comics, you do realize a comic publishes once a month, 12 times a year. So in the rotation, like, you know, Marvel's fortunate if people are talking about Spider-Man like once a month. Some of these characters have multiple titles, so it's very possible for them to be talked about whatever. And they're fighting for relevance. I think in a way they're fighting just to keep their job. The other, there's a solution to all this. Okay. And it's a very simple solution. Either do really good ideas with your characters that you already have, good stories, good ideas, or make new diverse characters. And the fear that I have as a comic book creator and a comic book fan first, and been reading for years, is that Marvel Comics, DC Comics, they actually are creatively bankrupt and they can't do this. That they don't have the ability to come up with a really cool Thor story, much less of a cool Miles Morales story right now. That they have to do something lazy and borderline racist such as this. And, or better yet, I want to double this down. Why not come up with a new diverse character, period? You did it once with Miles Morales, and that's arguable because it's a Spider-Man derivative. But, I mean, is it just really that hard to make a new superhero at Marvel Comics and maybe say this character is a diverse character? Is it really that impossible? That there's a couple of reasons it could be, and that could be that creators don't want to give comic companies a character anymore. Like a lot of this is off the backs of people like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. But still, figure out a new deal. Figure out something that works, because this type of talk, this type of ruffling feathers with religions, this isn't gonna turn into anything positive. If anything, eventually the high ups at Marvel or Disney or whatever, they're gonna stomp this out. And this happened with Bill Jamis. Historical, history, you can look back. There was the X-Force issue with Princess Diana's ghost in it or something that got pulled and never went to print, and he was shown the door. Like, eventually this stuff is going to hit bad. It's going to get talked about, but it's going to really have a bad blowback on it. And it's not so far-fetched with how low comics are selling that these big corporations say it's, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. This comic game, this trying to fight for relevance on a monthly schedule, there's too many possibilities that you could damage our IP and just trying to fumble around and stay relevant. But anyways, these are some thoughts of ours. Me and Yanzi talk about. Do you have anything you want to end with, Yanzi?
Well, Marvel keep virtue signaling every single month. And maybe one of these days, you will have something that actually sticks with people instead of having to do a gimmick every month. Maybe you have one gimmick that actually sticks, but maybe it's a bit too late for that. Who knows?
Right. Who knows? But anyways, guys, Inglorious Rex, $251,000, 616. Please go check it out. A brand new comic by me. I'll leave you guys with the trailer, and also hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and leave me a comment down below about what your thoughts are on this matter.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6 cents for imposters, so now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the game.